yeah, and I read your pitch deck and I looked at your website, and I know the market right now. I know what's out there. I've actually used the non-crypto equivalent of the meeting with celebrities that you mentioned in your pitch deck. I'm forgetting what it's called right now, but where you Cameo. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Cameo. So I definitely understand the appeal of getting to see your favorite celebrities and sort of own a little bit more of your fandom in a way that is monetizable, monetary. I guess I'll just go into my initial thoughts, and then you guys can ask me some questions. So from what I understand from what Fadia told me and what he wrote in the chat is that you guys are looking for feedback on the way your website is presented to users, and then as well as your pitch deck. So I will start with the pitch deck because that's what I looked at first. I think my first question for you, just by reading the pitch deck once through, is who is your audience for the pitch deck? I know at the very end you do have segments, but in an ideal world, who is the person what is the response you want to get when you send the pitch deck to people? Are you sending it to investors, to users, to celebrities, to whom?
This pitch deck is for investors.
It's for investors. Okay. I ask because, coming from a journalist perspective, coming from Cointelegraph before I joined CoinMarketCap, one of the things that I was taught to be wary of are big numbers that aren't related to the project. So the way that your pitch deck starts is with that really big number. I think it's like 100 or 45,000 million or something about all of the things that have been sold. But just looking at this now, I didn't see where that number came from, and it didn't have to do with your platform. So to me, again, this is as a journalist, not an investor, that would be like a ding ding, like this is a question I need to follow up on. I want to know their sources. I want to know why they're trying to wow me with these big numbers. So that might be just like one bit of advice is, I'm assuming not all of your investors are former journalists, but to start off with numbers about your actual platform as opposed to about the industry as a whole, or at least make it really clear what the numbers refer to and what you want investors to do with that information. The second thing about the beginning of the pitch deck is that the overall journey that I got was that, like I said, it caused me to question, who is this pitch deck for? Are you sending this to celebrities? Are you sending this to users? I think it might behoove you to create separate pitch decks for each type of audience that you want to receive, what you want their response to be. So for example, let me just pull it up on my computer. So for example, if you go to your pitch deck on the key benefits of joining our platform, which is on page 13 for me, that to me is actually one of the most important bits of the whole pitch deck. It shows exactly what the creators and celebrities can get. And then on the other hand, it shows what the fans and investors could get. And I'm not saying that you need to create entirely new pitch decks from scratch. I just think it might be useful as an exercise and then actually to use to sort of take these key benefits and split those out into these separate pitch decks as opposed to one that I couldn't tell who the audience was at the end of it. One of the pieces of advice that I use a lot when I am having my team create content products is I have them write out a press release of what they think, of what they want to happen. It's a strategy that I think Amazon uses. So like, for example, when we launched CoinMarketCap Alexandria, which is our educational content platform, I wrote a press release that said, you know, we're so excited. And this was before we even had an engineer. It was, we're so excited to have launched this platform. We're so excited that we have top authors from the best projects in the space. We're so excited the New York Times covered our launch. We're so excited that we have an entire glossary section, et cetera, sort of working backwards. And then when I had that sort of final reaction, what I imagined the public would want, that's when I worked backward on the product. And I think that could be an exercise for the pitch deck. Now, moving forward to some more sort of specific points. In terms of the language itself, I think you guys often are using passive voice instead of active voice, which is purely a grammar thing, but I think it could make the deck more exciting. Like example, if you look on page 4, let's see. It's sort of things like having launched, had done this, had raised. You know, you always want to put yourself in the active voice here. So like social tokens are becoming, it's too many words. That's on page, for me, page 3. Social tokens are becoming the latest trend. I would just say are the latest trend. The latest trend is social tokens, just sort of flipping the sentences around so that you're always packing a punch with each word. Let me see if I can find another example that I wrote down. Basically, you want to read through, and if ever you see that they had done something, they have been, they had done, etc., flip the sentence backwards. And make sure that you're always having an active voice. Passive voice is in English only really ever used for instruction guides, manuals, etc. So it just automatically makes the deck seem like a little bit more clinical. The next thing on page 5. I think that this turns back to the idea of who this pitch deck is for. To me, page 5, which is the page with Conor McGregor and his whiskey brand, it seems like it's pitching to a celebrity as opposed to an investor. I'm not sure what exactly I would recommend to change the tone here. What I wrote down was the steps are maybe a little bit too in depth for what an investor would want to know, as opposed to like what a celebrity would want to know in order to onboard. And I can also send you the notes that I wrote up for all of this, so you don't have to just remember everything that I said. Moving forward, the page that I had the most issue with understanding was the success story and athlete social token. I think that it's just, you know, I couldn't follow the logic. So after a few days of being listed on the exchange, I didn't understand